Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to discuss if you should have multiple luxury travel cards. In the points and miles game, we like to have many different cards. Cards for dining, cards for airfare, cards for hotel stays, cards for cash back, and so on and so on. Having many different cards can allow you to maximize your gains in all these different categories. But if you happen to have many different luxury cards that end up overlapping, is this taken away from your gains? Now, if these are no annual fee cards, then it shouldn't make a difference. If these are different hotel cards, they're going to be giving you free night award certificates each year just for having the card, and you're able to take advantage of each one of these free night award certificates, then chances are you are going to be winning from having these cards overlapping as well. I'm already not a fan of airline cards, and I can't think of many reasons why someone would want multiple of them outside of getting yourself like companion pass with Southwest. But maybe just in a few instances like that, it could make sense to have multiple airline cards. But what I'm really curious of is, does it make sense to have multiple luxury travel cards, or is it similar to like having multiple airline credit cards where it probably doesn't make much sense to do? Luxury cards are going to be the most popular cards that you hear people talking about on YouTube. These are going to be cards like the American Express Platinum card or the Chase Sapphire Reserve card. And when I say having multiple of these cards, I don't mean like having multiple American Express Platinum cards. I mean more along the lines of having yourself the American Express Platinum card, the Chase Sapphire Reserve card, the Venture X card, and the Altitude Reserve card all in your wallet. If you did happen to have all these cards, or maybe even just two of these cards in your wallet, is it better to do that or just to only have one? Now, there are all different cards that people may consider as being luxury travel cards. The way I'm going to consider them in this video are going to be cards that end up giving you lounge access, but also have a high annual fee. So if you looked at a card like the American Express Gold card, although this card does have a high annual fee, it doesn't offer you lounge access. And if you look at a couple of the co-branded cards connected with Chase, being like the United Infinite card, and then also the United Explorer card, I would see the Infinite card as being a luxury travel card versus the Explorer card. While this card does give you lounge access to the United lounges, it is limited, and also the annual fee is a lot lower. Now, I know that everyone's gonna have different criteria for what they consider as being a luxury travel card, but for this video, I'm just gonna go off of having a high annual fee and also having lounge access that's gonna end up being considered as a luxury travel card. So now that we're on the same page for what I'm counting as luxury travel cards for this video, should you have multiple of them in your wallet? And in this video, we're gonna imagine that there's no welcome offers being added onto them, because every one of these cards is gonna make sense to get at least for the first year because the welcome offers are just so lucrative. But after having them for at least 1 year, does it make sense to keep these cards, or at least multiple of them, in your wallet at the same time? Now, a luxury travel card that I think that can work out really well with most other cards is going to be the Capital One Venture X card. The reason for this is because the card has that $395 annual fee, but you get 10,000 points every anniversary of having the card, and then the $300 through Capital One's travel portal that you get every anniversary as well. So if you just end up making one booking through the travel portal for $300, you've already come out ahead with this card because it also ends up giving you lounge access. Now, unlike American Express when it comes to how they issue a lot of their credits, with Capital One, you can end up just doing all this on one purchase. So if you happen to have a wedding that you're going to, there may end up being a hotel that you need to stay at that's gonna cost $300 a night to attend that wedding. And then if you decided not even to use this card for the rest of the year, you still end up getting yourself priority pass and also access to Capital One's lounges. So just from that one purchase, the card can end up making sense to have. Now, I'm not recommending you to use this card just for one purchase through the travel portal and then just to sock draw it. What I am saying is that if you happen to do that, you still can end up winning with this card because of the lounge access. But I would more recommend to use this card because it's a very easy 2x catch-all card that you can add into your wallet and has the ability to transfer out to transfer partners. If you look at a card like the American Express Platinum card, although this card does get a lot more credits, these credits can end up being way more challenging to use. Say for instance, you happen to not live in the city, well, you end up getting $200 throughout the year, broken up into month after month with an Uber credit with the American Express Platinum card. And I could see someone who ends up living in the middle of East Kentucky not being able to take advantage of this credit. But for someone like myself who lives in Los Angeles and uses Uber pretty frequently, I have both the American Express Platinum card and the Venture X card, and I feel that I am winning with both of these cards. I use the American Express Platinum card to book many of my domestic flights. Although I would like to try to use points to be able to book my flights, in many instances it just makes a lot of sense to use the Platinum card to be able to earn the points because how many points would end up being required to make a domestic award booking just doesn't end up making a lot of sense. I also use my American Express Platinum card when I end up seeing very lucrative Amex offers. If you haven't went through your Amex offers with your American Express Platinum card, I highly recommend checking them out because just from one click on some of these different offers, you'd be surprised at how many either points or cash back you can end up getting at normal places that you shop at. And when I'm not working on a welcome offer, my Venture X card is my catch-all card. So although I'm paying close to $1,100 annually with having both of these cards in my wallet, I can easily offset this annual fee from the different credits I end up getting from the American Express Platinum card and the Venture X card. And then also I end up earning points with both of these different cards in category spend that doesn't overlap. So I'm pretty confident that the combination of luxury travel cards that I currently have work out well together. What if we swapped out one of them for a different luxury travel card? Say instead of having the American Express Platinum card in there, you had the Venture X with the Chase Sapphire Reserved. And while I think it may make sense to have both the American Express Platinum and the Venture X like I do, I don't think it makes a ton of sense to have the Venture X and the Chase Sapphire Reserve. Now I've said previously on this channel that I am not the largest fan of the Chase Sapphire Reserve card. I just see it as being a more expensive version of the Venture X card. But that's not to say that the card doesn't make sense for some people. If you're someone who is looking to get themselves lounge access, easy to use transfer partners, and you are a bigger spender, and you want to have simplicity in your wallet and not shuffle through many different cards, then I do believe that the Chase Sapphire Reserve card can make a lot of sense for you to have. But if you have the Chase Sapphire Reserve card and another luxury travel credit card, and you aren't a content creator or a blogger, are you winning with having both of these luxury travel cards? I put the Altitude Reserve in the same category with the Chase Sapphire Reserve. It is a solid card that if you want simplicity and you don't want to have to worry about transfer partners, then having the Altitude Reserve can end up being a great addition into your wallet. But does it make sense to have the Altitude Reserve with another luxury travel card? My feeling is that the Altitude Reserve, while it is a solid card, it doesn't make sense to match up with other cards out there that have higher annual fees. And the reason is because the Altitude Reserve is probably going to end up getting most of your spend put on it because of the fact that it gives you 3x back on all purchases that end up being able to be used through a mobile wallet. Now I understand that not every place is going to take mobile wallets, but I don't think it's unreasonable to say that if you happen to have the Altitude Reserve and you leave your house, then chances are that's going to be your form of payment that you're going to be trying to use unless it isn't accepted at that location. And the fact that you get a 50% boost on your travel points with your Altitude Reserve when you end up redeeming it with real-time rewards ends up making this a solid card to use if you're someone who wants simplicity. The point I'm trying to make in this video is that these cards can only end up being used so much, but the annual fees can keep on increasing. The banks want us to get these high annual fee cards for two different reasons. First reason is so that they can get some money up front from us. And the second reason is that so that we end up feeling incentivized to use this card because the card ends up costing us $400+ each year to have. And the more that we end up using the bank's card, the more money they're gonna end up making from those interchange fees. Now for the people who are maximizers who have 20 different cards, you're probably saying, well, I would just use the different cards for the best categories. And I imagine that you probably will. But Bill, who is your coworker, who happens to have one of these different luxury travel credit cards, is not going to be thinking about using all the different ones. All he's going to know is that one of his cards cost him a lot of money to have, so he's going to try to use this card as much as he can to make sure he ends up getting the value from having it. One of the biggest reasons why people end up getting these luxury travel credit cards is for the lounge access. But if you end up having multiple luxury travel credit cards, the big lounge access of like Priority Pass ends up overlapping. So you aren't going to be getting yourself really more value from having multiple Priority Passes. Now, are there little exceptions such as like, oh, the Altitude Reserve gives you lounge access to Priority Pass restaurants? Sure, but as a whole, most of them are overlapping with how you're going to be able to use them. And I don't think if you already had Priority Pass with the Venture X, you'd be willing to pay much more to have Priority Pass with a different card. Now, I know that there are people who are watching this video who have multiple luxury travel cards in their wallet that doesn't involve even having the Venture X card. So the question that I'm asking is, what are you doing to make that make sense? Could it make sense to have a combination of the Venture X card along with the United Infinite card or the AA Premium card? I think so. Or at least I think that it can make more sense than having something like the American Express Platinum card with the Delta Reserve card. Sure, you get yourself the Companion Pass with the Delta Reserve card, but outside of that, what else are you using the Delta Reserve card for? Every year I look at the different cards that I have and I figure out whether or not I should be either keeping them or canceling them. One of the cards that I was about to cancel earlier this year was my American Express Gold card. However, I decided to keep it just for one more year because I got a retention offer. But if I didn't end up getting a retention offer, I realized that card wasn't really giving me the type of value that I felt that it actually was. Now, I don't think that there's anything wrong with putting all of your spend on just one card. While I may not think that that's optimal, it is convenient, and if you highly value this convenience, then I understand. On the reverse, I don't think there's anything wrong with having 20 cards. If you can manage all of those cards and maximize your gains, good on you. But if you are getting all of these top cards because people online are telling you that these cards are the best, then I recommend going through your card lineup and seeing how much value you're actually getting from them, because something tells me that you're probably not getting as much value as you believe. I'm a fan of the American Express Platinum card, and $640 of the $695 annual fee is going to be with spend that I would have been doing regardless of if I had the card or if I didn't have the card. I see many people who talk about how they can get themselves easily over $800 in value from having the American Express Platinum card, and while that may be true, the question I want to ask you is that if someone knocked on your door giving you the same credits for the American Express Platinum card, just excluding getting yourself the Platinum card, what are the odds that you're actually going to be taking that person's deal, or that you're just going to be slamming the door on that person's face? Now, I like that we all have different card setups and play this game differently. And I'm not making this video to be judgmental whatsoever. I'm legitimately trying to figure out how it is that someone has an American Express Platinum card, Chase Sapphire Reserve card, and maybe the Venture X card, and is winning having all of these cards as compared to just having one of them. Because unless you are someone who is going to be getting like referrals from YouTube channel or from blogs or from Facebook groups, then how can you have all that and really truly be maximizing? This isn't me judging these people. This is me legitimately asking a question. If you are someone who happens to have multiple luxury travel credit cards, what is it that you are doing to be winning with having all of these cards? Hopefully you enjoy this video, and hopefully some of you answer my question in the comment section down below. This is a little bit of a different type of video than I normally make, but hopefully some of you guys enjoyed it. If you did happen to enjoy it, do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, share this video, and have a beautiful rest of your day.